There was a time I used to believe that happiness was something I had to work toward, that it was waiting for me at the end of a checklist. I thought it lived in promotions, in salary increases, in ticking off big life milestones. And I chased that idea for a long time, telling myself, once I get there, then I'll be happy. But one quiet evening, I sat down with a cup of tea and looked back at the happiest moments of my life so far. And something surprising happened. None of those moments had anything to do with a paycheck or an achievement. They were all soft, small, and almost forgettable if I hadn't been paying attention. The feeling of cool breeze on my face, the joy of cooking something simple in my kitchen, the feeling of clean bed sheets after a shower. They weren't extraordinary by society's standards, but to me, they were everything. So in today's video, I want to share 5 tiny, accessible habits that have gently changed the way I live. These are habits that don't require much. You don't need money or big schedule shift. You just need a little more intention. Let's start with something a lot of us struggle with: scrolling. I would find myself opening social media without even thinking. I'd pick up my phone for just a few minutes, and suddenly an hour had gone by. My brain felt tired, my mood a little worse, and yet I kept doing it. So one day, I tried something different. I swapped those endless scrolls with hobbies, ones that use my hands and let my mind rest. Gardening became one of those hobbies. Now I don't have a huge garden, just a few pots with herbs and flowers in the front of my house. But the act of watering them, watching them grow, and checking on them each morning, it grounds me. It makes me feel present. Another hobby I fell back in love with is painting. I'm not a professional and I don't try to be. I just play with colors and shapes. Sometimes I paint what I feel. Sometimes I paint nothing at all. But I always end up feeling lighter afterward. There's something beautiful about using your hands to create rather than consume. These hobbies have pulled me out of that endless scroll and into something that gives me peace. And the best part is, anyone can try this. It's something small to remind you that you're alive, you're here, and that's enough. I have always been a reader. Ever since I was a kid, books felt like home. But as life got busier, I noticed I had less and less time to sit down with a book. My to-do lists were always growing, and by the end of the day, I was too tired to focus. That's when I discovered audiobooks. At first, I thought it wouldn't be the same as reading, but I was wrong. Audiobooks became my quiet companion through the mundane parts of my life. I listen while I wash the dishes, fold the laundry, or even when I'm winding down at night. It's such a simple shift, but it brought books back into my daily life in such an effortless way. There's something soothing about hearing a story unfold while your hands are busy. It turns everyday chores into a peaceful ritual. I personally use Everand. It's a more budget-friendly option compared to Audible, but you don't have to pay for audiobooks. There are so many beautiful ones available for free, even on YouTube. This habit brought me a gentle kind of happiness, one that's rooted in stories, in imagination, and in taking back those moments we often overlook. For a long time, I was a chronic overthinker. I would replay conversations in my head, worry about the future, and spiral into what ifs over things that hadn't even happened yet. It felt like my brain was constantly buzzing, and peace always felt just out of reach. But over time, and with some inner work, I began to ask myself a very grounding question. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, I gave myself permission to let it go. It sounds simple, but it took practice. Now, when I start overthinking, I gently bring myself back to what I can do. Can I change this? Can I respond to this with grace? Can I show up for myself in this moment? If yes, I do it. If not, I let it be. This mindset has changed everything. It's not about ignoring your problems. It's about investing your energy where it can actually make a difference. And the beautiful side effect, you begin to trust yourself more. You start feeling a little steadier even when life gets messy. I found so much calm in this habit, not because life got easier, but because I stopped trying to control every little piece of it. I now leave room for softness, for surrender, and for peace. Life can feel heavy sometimes. There's always something going on, something to fix, something to figure out. And in all that noise, it's easy to forget the quiet blessings we live with every single day. So I started a gratitude journal. Nothing fancy, just a small notebook where I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Some days, it's something big, like a good news. Other days, it's as simple as the cloudy weather I've been waiting for this hot month, or my favorite tea was exactly right today. I'm not gonna lie, at first, it felt forced. I wasn't used to noticing the good so intentionally, but over time, it became natural. My mind slowly shifted from what I lacked to what I already had. And with that shift came joy, soft, unshakable joy. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard parts of life, but it reminds us that even in the hard parts, there's still something beautiful, a moment, a gesture, a breath. And when you start noticing these things, you begin to feel rich in the ways that matter the most. Social media is such a strange thing. On one hand, it connects us to the world. On the other hand, it quietly makes us compare everything: our homes, our bodies, our routines, our success, even our happiness. At one point, I realized I was constantly feeling less than without knowing why. So I did something simple but powerful. I curated my feed. I unfollowed accounts that made me feel like I wasn't doing enough, or like I had to constantly improve myself to be worthy. I started following people who inspired me gently, people who talked about real things, who shared their creativity, who reminded me to slow down and breathe. And the effect was immediate. Social media stopped being a comparison trap and started feeling like a little cozy corner I had designed for myself. It became a place of inspiration and not insecurity. You have full permission to protect your peace online. You're allowed to choose what voices you let into your space. And sometimes that small choice can create a huge ripple effect in your mental well being. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that happiness isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with fireworks or big life changes. Sometimes it tiptoes in through the little things, the habits we build quietly, the choices we make daily, the gentle ways we care for ourselves. I hope these 5 tiny habits gave you some ideas or at least a moment to pause and think about what brings you peace. Because happiness looks different for everyone. For some, it's adventure. For others, it's stillness. But no matter what it looks like for you, it's never too far away. Often it's already here. You just have to notice it. Thank you for spending this little pocket of time with me. I'm sending you a reminder that you deserve a life that feels good, not just the one that looks good. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.